Hello, Randy Rain here, and a few years ago, I updated this Grim Reaper that I made like 20, 30 years ago. I can't even remember. Well, it stopped working, so now I have to fix it, and I might as well upgrade it some more, so let me get started. My first thought was my power supply burned out, but I checked it, and it's working, even though it's supposed to put out 12 volts, and it's like 16 or something. I guess it's because it's old. So the electronics on this thing, there's a photoresistor right here, and it's being detected by this chip. It randomly picks a number on how many times the light has to go off and on, and then it just turns this thing on. And the idea is just, kind of freak you out, make you forget about it, and it turn on. I think this switch was for making it more likely and less likely. I think for Halloween you would put it here so it did it more often, but then the rest of the time you'd put it like that, and that way it wouldn't happen very often and you'd totally forget about it. So there's a couple of things that could be wrong. This is a voltage regulator that takes that supposedly 12 volts and turn it down to 5. That could be blown, which means this chip is blown. This is a TIP transistor that's turning the motor on. I guess that could be gone. I doubt it, but it could be. Then again, maybe the motor is out. So this thing's working all through here, and the motor is just not turning on. Not really sure. That's what I'm here to find out. First thing I'm going to do is pop this chip out. Okay, now I'm going to see how much voltage is being put onto this pin. That's these two up here. This one and this one. Right at 5 volts. 5 volts on the money. Okay, so it's not that. Go ahead and take this off. This is going to the photoresistor. When this transistor turns on, it's sending a negative up to the motor, and this is positive right here. Okay, now I guess I'll just see if that pin is just turning on. I can hold it on there. Alright. Not getting anything. Bupkis. So now what I do is I take this chip out, reprogram it to just turn this thing off and on. And let's just see if this thing's turning off and on, or this thing is even running. This could be bad. The chip could be gone. I don't know. And I've reprogrammed it to when it turns on, it's going to wait 5 seconds. Then it's going to turn the motor on, or turn this transistor on to turn the motor on for 5 seconds. And then it's going to turn it off. Then it's going to wait 5 seconds and do it all over again. Plugging in now. Starting timer, and it turned on, and it turned off, and then it's turning back on. So all of this works. I got to reprogram it back, but what is not working, obviously, is this photoresistor. Okay, I want to check the resistance. Okay, covering it up, light, cover it up. Okay, so that's working. Now I'm really confused. Alright, I figured out what the problem is. What happens is when you turn this on by plugging it in, which I just did, this sensor is a photoresistor, and it gets a number based on the amount of light coming in. And then it divides it in half, and that's what it has to be under to trigger. And then it has to be over that to trigger the other way. And so right now, it took the studio light here, and just by me covering my finger up, that should be half, but it's not. Just the light coming through my finger. There is some, but that should be plenty to be in half. But if I take some felt here and really make it dark, way more than half, then it'll actually start working and you'll start seeing this motor turn on. So it randomizes how many times you need to do this, but I have it set on as few as possible. Okay, so the answer is either change this photoresistor out, I do have a bunch of them, or change the code. Not sure. I'm going to come back to it. So let me show you around this thing. I probably made this 27, 28 years ago, something like this. And it was just to learn how to do brazing and welding and stuff like that. That's all this was how to learn to do this stuff. And you can see, like here, this is just a little eye screw that I brazed on. Another one here. This is a nut here. You can see there's a nut back here as well. It's just metal that I just welded together, basically. And you can see here, like this one, this little eye screw, it would need to be over here. That would be a lot better. But it is what it is. There's this arm, as the motor spins, it pushes this arm up and down. And so the arms are straight when it's down, and then they bend as it goes up. And then the last time I fixed this, I added this head here. Before, it was an empty void with LED as lights. And when I did it last time, people told me to put LEDs in here, which I think I'm going to do this time. So I have plenty of LEDs that can go in there. And there's pretty much already a hole for them in there. But there's nothing coming out the back for the wiring. Alright, I'm going to use magnet wire. Oh, there we go, right through. There it is. It's like it's almost meant to be there. So I probably should have marked which ones were which. I'm not even sure which ones are going to which LED. Let's go with a little bit of a liquid electrical tape. And I've got white. Now I need to run this wire down through here, but well, I didn't leave any room. And cover this all up. Stick it down. Looking at the circuit, I noticed for some reason I didn't put a resistor between the transistor and the output of the chip. Well, that's not right. All the unused pins go to ground, so I gotta take one of them away so I can use it for the eyes. This one. Gotcha. Alright, now I'll just move you way over. Now a 1K resistor across here. Now this goes to the collector. And then we got to ground the emitter. Now, we'll put another resistor here. I'll just put that over to there somewhere. Because there's 5 volts here. And so I put it through a 1K resistor. Now that should be correct. I'll pop out this little guy. Alright, I'm greasing this sucker up. Okay, here. It's not easy. Okay, I have this very old piece of foam rubber that goes here. It just basically to keep things from getting tangled up. It's just sewn on as well. So there's my Grim Reaper working again, and who would have guessed that it was a change in value of a photoresistor? Didn't know they could do that. But I fixed it. Instead of halfway, it now looks just a third. So if it gets a third darker from the value when you turn it on, that's when it gets triggered to know if it's gone from light to dark. Now, of course, I added my blinking red LEDs to it. And to do that, I had to change the code also. Because before, all it was doing was turning on, pausing the whole code. When the pause is done, it starts up again. So to make the LEDs flash, that wasn't going to work. So I added in a variable to keep time, which allows me to write some more code to make the eyes blink. That also allowed something else to be fixed that was a problem. And that was at dusk. If I had the window open, it would set the thing off. And it wouldn't just set it off once, it would set it off multiple times. Because you have to think that the value coming in to this photoresistor here is fluctuating. And so as it goes past the marker where it triggers, it's going to fluctuate a few times past that. And so it would just set it off over and over and over until finally the sun went down far enough that it would stop. So using that same timekeeping variable that I added in, I can now make it so it won't activate until at least 5 minutes have gone by. So that way the sun should have set by then. So it would go off once if you leave it by the window and it's open, but it shouldn't go off multiple times. Anyway, here it is working, and it goes right up there. It goes above my time machine. If you want to see what all that is about, I have a video on that. But it goes above that, right next to my gondola, which also needs to be fixed. For some reason, it's not working. Once again, I'm guessing bad power supply, but I was wrong before, so who knows. And it's going to go up here with this doll. And you're probably wondering, well, what is that doll? Well, that's a Randy Rain doll, silly. That's the one I have that's out of the package. Here's the one in the package, and you can see it's a Randi rain doll. My friend David gave me these. I keep the one out of the package up here with the Grim Reaper. We can now see him activate in place. So if you like this video, I sure would appreciate a big thumbs up. If you want to see more, of course, hit the subscribe button. I want to thank these people right here. These are the patrons. These are the people that keep this channel going. I couldn't do any of this stuff and put out a video every week if it wasn't for these people right here. So if you'd like to keep me going and keep a video coming out every week about something, then the best thing you could do, of course, is be a patron. There's also a super thanks and a PayPal donation link as well. But if all you can give me is a nice view, well, I thank you for that as well. Happy Halloween, everyone.